About 90 to 95% of the black church in America is objectively, by the standards of Scripture, heretical. The black church in America needs to be split up. It needs to go and find a good, God-fearing white church.
Let me talk to him for a second. Listen, I declare this will be the year of overflow. This promise will come to pass. Let it start in your mind, go to your heart, and end up in your family. And whenever you hear it say, I'm just trying to live in the overflow.
We'll get the hang of it.
Back to kick. We're going to get some emails. Here we go.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Are you at church?
Yes, we are. Welcome to Saddleback, everybody.
It doesn't even constitute a true church. They're teaching things that are absolutely in direct opposition to the Christian faith.
We're not limited to the Bible, but God expands. That comes by taking the limits off of him and allowing him to expand.
Listen to the message and you believe what they're saying, you will go to
Here's what Joel Webbon is reported to have said, especially the widely circulated comments that sparked backlash, including when he suggested that black churches or black people need white Christians. Joel Webbon is senior pastor of Covenant Bible Church in Texas and founder of Right Response Ministries. He released a clip on a podcast urging white Christian parents to give their children a specific kind of talk about black strangers in neighborhoods. He says something along the lines of, if you go into a crowd of strangers, white strangers pose some danger, but black strangers are 30 times more dangerous, and them's the facts. He also framed it as a parental duty, saying white parents are failing their children if they teach that all races are the same. Now, here are some of the specific points he made or implied. He urged white parents to have a fear of black strangers, and he described a talk that sounds similar to the one black families have about police interactions, but instead of avoiding certain people and places, he claimed black people are inherently more dangerous. And his statement about black crowds being 30 times more dangerous is a frightening generalization rather than documented fact. He also suggested not all black people he knew were unsafe. And he qualified his statement by saying it didn't apply to black church members he personally knew, thus reinforcing a distinction between known versus unknown black people. He also identifies Christian nationalist ideology, which prioritizes a particular cultural identity tied to Christianity and the United States. And critics say this can overlap with exclusionary racial thinking. In other words, he fits the Proud Boy concept. And his past statements on race and culture, according to online discussions attributed to him or his ministry, include extremely disparaging assertions, and such as claiming that slavery was a blessing for black people and that apartheid was better for black South Africans, or that the arrival of Europeans was the greatest moment for brown or black nations. Now, these claims are reported in social media and summaries and critiques, but they underscore how critics view his rhetoric as racist and historically dismissive of black suffering. Now, critics, including journalists and commentators responding to the viral clip, highlight several problems with his remarks, like his misuse of crime statistics. Webbon's assertion that black strangers are 30 times more dangerous is based on selective or misinterpreted data and ignores context like demographics, population distribution, and systemic inequities. You know, he reminds me of Trump constantly saying millions and millions and just throwing out numbers with no facts behind it. and his encouraging fear of a whole racial group, especially framed as a parental duty, taps into long-standing racist myths about black people as inherently dangerous. And his weaponization of Christianity presents this fear-based advice as a faith-based moral duty, conflates religious guidance with racial fear-mongering, which many Christians see as a distortion of biblical teachings about love, neighbor, loving neighbor, and impartiality. So with that being said, this is a vile and despicable human being, and we as Christians ought to be watchful of liars such as he. So continue to renew your minds. Enough said.